السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Inshallah, today we are continuing from where we stopped from the last lesson. If you can remember, we were looking at the brief history of Imam Ghazali, and then we got to this particular point where we stopped. So we are going to be continuing from this particular point, as we said the last time. So without wasting much time, let's just continue. The Sheikh continued by saying that وَأَقَامَ التَّدْرِيسِ. So if you can remember, let's just do a quick recap from where we stopped here. Where was that? Here. فقدم بغداد في سنة 484. He went to Baghdad in this particular year. ودرس بالنظامية, and then he taught in the مدرسة النظامية. وعجب الخلق حسن كلامه وكمال فضله. So this was where we stopped, where he went to Baghdad, and then he was teaching, and then the people were amazed by the strategies that he was using to teach. Now something is going to happen here, very important for us to learn, and there will be a great lesson for us all. And let's look at it. When we enter, we shall see what is coming. He says that وَأَقَامَ عَلَى تَدْرِيسِ الْعِلْمِ وَنَشْرِهِ بِالتَّعْلِيمِ. He took it over himself. أَقَامَ عَلَى شَيْء أو أَقَامَ بِشَيْء. It means to take something upon yourself. Okay. أَقَامَ عَلى شَيْء. Okay, so if I say قام بالتدريس العلم, he took it on himself to be teaching knowledge. Okay, so وقام على تدريس العلم, like he have said here, he took teaching knowledge, took it over himself to be teaching the knowledge. ونشره بالتعليم, spreading it with his teaching, with the teaching. والفتيا, and even giving fatwa. Okay, people were coming to him and then he was giving him fatwas on certain issues. وَالتَّصْنِيفُ مُدَّةً, and even authorship. He was doing authorship for some time. Okay, authoring books. Okay, when we go, we shall see books that he has done. Okay, Ihya Ulumuddin and all these books that is done by Imam Ghazali. Then he also says that Azim al-Jah, he was someone who had great prestige. Azim al-Jah, Jah is prestige. Zaid al-Hishma, he had excess dignity. Al-Hishma bima'na dignity. It can also mean shyness, but here it means dignity. Ali Rutba, he had a great rank. Rutba bima'na rank of someone. He had a great rank in the society. Masmu' al-Kalima, his speech or his sayings were being listened to. People were listening to what he was saying. Mashhur al-Ism, his name was very famous. وعلت حشمته ودرجته في بغداد حتى كانت تغلب حشمة الأكابر. And his hishma, his dignity, ودرجاته, and his status in the society in Baghdad, it went high. Ala, for something to go high. So alat, it went high. حتى كانت تغلب حشمة الأكابر, to a point where it exceeds. Okay, it overpowered the hishma, the dignity of the akabir, of the great people in Baghdad, wal umara, and even the princes, what darul khilafa, and the people of khilafa, the household of khilafa, of the caliph. You know, they are people who are very famous in the society, but Imam Ghazali, he's also surpassed them. That's what he's saying. Summa tabarramat nafsuhu mimma kana fihi min al-jah. Then he was dissatisfied. Afterwards, he became dissatisfied. Tabarrama, it means to become dissatisfied with something. Okay, so his inner self was dissatisfied from what he was in of dignity. وَكَسْرَةُ الطَّلَبَةِ, and even the plentiness of his students. وَالْإِقْتِدَارَ عَلَى عُلُومِ وَتَدْرِيسِهَا, and his capability, iqtidar, capacity or capability over knowledge. Ulum, sciences, and his teaching. He was someone who could take any knowledge and then he teach it. Okay, this field, maybe he take Sharia, he can teach it. He take Luga, he can teach it. He take Usuluddin, he can teach it. He take anything you can think of. When he take it, anything in Islam, he take it, he can be able to teach it. So he wasn't satisfied with that. The the dignity, and then the plentiness of his students, and then this capacity to teach anything, he wasn't satisfied with it. No, he think he could do more. Then he says that وَاعْتِرَاهُ شَكٌّ فِي الْعُلُومِ, and shak, doubt, overtook him. اعترى يعتري, it means to overtake. So doubt overtook him in the knowledge. وظهر له أنه لا مطمع في سعادة الآخرة إلا بالتقوى, and it became open to him, it became clear to him that there's no desire, there's no desire whatsoever, in the happiness of the akhirah except with taqwa. He began to think about something. Let's see, as we go, it will become clear. وَكَفَّ النَّفْسِ عَنِ الْهَوَى, and preventing the soul from hawa, vain desires that have that are vain, they have nothing in it. وَالْإِقْبَالَ عَلَى اللَّهِ تَعَالَى, and devoting oneself to Allah Azza wa Jal. وَأَنَّ ذَلِكَ لَا يَتِمُّ إِلَّا بِالْإِعْرَاضِ عَنِ الْجَاهِ وَالْمَالِ, and all that it cannot be complete, it can be achieved إِلَّا بِإِعْرَاضِ, except with neglecting. عَرَضَ يُعْرِضُ, to neglect something. عَنِ الْجَاهِ وَالْمَالِ, neglecting fame or prestige and money. Okay, you have to neglect these things if you are someone who really desire happiness in the akhirah. وَفَكَّرَ فِي نَفْسِهِ, and he thought, he sat down and think for some time in himself. فَإِذَا هُوَ مُقْبِلٌ عَلَى عُلُومٍ غَيْرِ مُحِمَّةٍ, and he was someone who was devoted to a knowledge that doesn't have any benefit. غَيْرِ مُحِمَّةٍ, that is not important. وَلَا نَافِعَةٍ فِي طَرِيقَةِ الْآخِرَةِ, and it had no benefit in leading him to the akhirah. So Sheikh began to think that what he was in, it wasn't really something that is important and something that will lead him to the akhirah. Why? Let's see. وَتَفَكَّرَ فِي نِيَّتِهِ, and then he thought in his niyyah, his intention. That's the main thing, the intention. So the intention, فِي نِيَّتِهِ, his intention. فَإِذَا هِيَ غَيْرُ خَالِصَةٍ لِوَجْهِ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى, and it was other than, solely for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal. فَتَيَقَّنَ أَنَّهُ عَلَى خَطَرٍ, and he developed yaqeen, certainty, that he is in danger. وَلَمْ يَزَلْ يُفَكِّرُ فِي مُفَارَقَةِ بَغْدَادِ وَتَرْكِ التَّدْرِيسِ قَرِيبًا مِنْ 6 أشهر, and he kept thinking in leaving Baghdad, moving away from Baghdad, where he's there teaching, and he had prestige, and then he had money, and then he was getting all these things, virtue and all these things, praises. He thought that he should leave the place. وَتَرْكِ التَّدْرِيسِ, and even the teaching, he should leave it. قَرِيبًا مِنْ 6 أشهر, close to 6 months, he should just leave it. حَتَّى غَلَبَ ذَلِكَ عَلَيْهِ, then that thought, secluding himself and thinking, it overpowered him. وَتُكِلَ لِسَانُهُ عَنِ التَّدْرِيسِ. اعتقل يعتقل, it means to lock something or someone. So اعتقل, that is the majhul form. It means his tongue, lisanuhu, his tongue locked up, عن التدريس, on teaching. He couldn't teach. وأورث ذلك حزنا في قلبي بطل معه قوة الحدم. وأورث ذلك حزنا, and that transmitted huzn, sorrow, into the heart. بطل معه قوة الحدم, it overpowered the strength of digestion. So it was giving him some disease, like it was translating into something physical disease or something in him. وَتَعَدَّى إِلَى ضَعْفِ الْقُوَّةِ, and it exceeded, it translated. Ta'adda, it means to go overboard. That thing, it went ahead, or it it became severe. It translated severely into ضعف القوة, weakness in strength. حتى يئس منه الأطباء, until a point where doctors were despair of him. They lost hope in him. Okay, Sheikh Mata, he cannot, get back to his health again. وأشاروا عليه بالترويح, and then they pointed to him tarwih, they advised him to have recreation. Tarwih is recreation. Okay. وحف عليه الإعراض عن الجاه والمال, and living, prestige and money became easy for him, because due to that sicknesses, it became easy to him. He could have he could use it as an excuse to leave. ففارق بغداد, and so he left Baghdad. وفرق ما كان معه من المال, and what the money that was with him, he left it. ولم يدخر إلا قدر الكفاف, and he didn't store. ادخر يدخر, it means to store, okay, something. He didn't store anything except that which was enough, قدر الكفاف, that which would suffice him. He only kept what would suffice him, that's all. He wasn't, someone who was jama'amala wa addada, keeping money and counting it, storing, and be thinking all that. So then he says that وَحَجَّ الْبَيْتَ الْحَرَامِ, and then he went for Hajj. So he left Baghdad. He thought that his intention wasn't pure. He wasn't doing it for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal. Okay, because of the jah, the prestige, and that's what happens. When you are a great person and then you are more people, and then you are leading them, and then you are teaching, you have great knowledge, you are teaching, you are doing all that, and then you have prestige. If you don't take time, your intention could be, diluted by shaitan. Shaitan can try to cast doubt or cast diseases into your heart, and make your intention impure. Okay, so that's what happens to great people. Even great people, Shaitan is someone who doesn't leave anyone. So there's no way you can see me the way where I am, that is it. MashaAllah, there's no way Shaitan can get me again. No, it's not possible. Like Allah says, Shaitan, Allah quoting Shaitan. Allah said what Shaitan said in Surah Araf. لَأَقْعُدَنَّ لَهُمْ صِرَاطَكَ الْمُسْتَقِيمِ, I will definitely sit on the straight path. Okay, he will sit on the straight path, waiting for anyone, no matter who you are. There's no way you can say, oh, me, I'm a final gone. I'm gone from Shaitan. There's no way Shaitan can. No. Even the Prophet Rasulullah, there was one time the Prophet was leading the Salat, and so Shaitan came to the Prophet, okay, in a form of a jinn, to try to distract the Prophet. So the Prophet held the jinn, he held him to a point where the saliva of the jinn was on the hand of the Prophet, and the Prophet released him, the jinn. The Prophet released it. And so after the Salat, the Sahabas, they saw the Prophet extending his hand as if he's holding on to something. And so they asked the Prophet, and the Prophet told them that it was a jinn who came to distract him. So you see, even if the Prophet, Shaitan will come and try to distract the Prophet, not to talk of we, who are nothing in the sight of Allah compared to the Prophet. So that's what happens. Shaitan doesn't leave anyone. There's no way. Okay, like the same Surah Al-Araf. Look at the story of Barsisa. So Shaitan doesn't leave anyone. Okay, so Sheikh tried to seclude himself, just leave the place and try to go back into seclusion and purify himself. It was a spiritual crisis that Imam Ghazali was going through, and this very, very famous thing that about him. All students of knowledge, know this. You have to know this, okay? Because there's a great lesson in it. Sheikh went through a lot of spiritual crisis, Imam Ghazali, and that's what we are just going through now. Okay, so Hajj al-Bayt al-Haram, when he secluded himself, he went for Hajj. He did Hajj, just trying to purify his intention again. Summa dakhal al-Sham, then he went to Sham. Okay, that is Syria, thereabout Syria, and then the whole peninsula. Okay. وأقام به قريبا من سنتين, and then he stayed there. أقام به, he stayed there close to 2 years. لا شغل له إلا بالعزلة. He didn't have any work. He wasn't doing anything except seclusion والخلوة, and staying from people. Uzla and khalwa, they are similar things. Okay, they are synonyms. But uzla is seclusion for anything. It could be seclusion because you fear, seclusion because you don't want people to see you, seclusion because maybe there's a danger or anything. But khalwa is most of the time is used for religious purposes. Okay, khalwa, you seclude yourself for the zikr of Allah, like what the Sufis do. Okay, so something like that is called khalwa. But uzla is more general. It's not mainly for religious purposes. It's just for any seclusion. Okay, it's called uzla. Wal riyadha, and even exercise. Sheikh was doing exercise. Wal mujahida, and striving. He was striving to purify himself. Ishtigalan bi tazkiyati nafs. He was engaged. He was occupied with purifying the soul. Wa tahzibil akhlaq, and refining his character. He's trying to refine it. وَتَصْفِيَةِ الْقَلْبِ لِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى. Tasfiyah is to purify something. Safi, okay, is ma'un safin. It means water that is purified. Okay, that is pure. So tasfiyah to means purification of the heart. لِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى, for the remembrance of Allah Azza wa Jal. ثُمَّ تَوَجَّهَ إِلَى بَيْتِ الْمَقْدِسِ. Then he went to Bayt al-Maqdis, that's Jerusalem. فَجَاوَرَ بِهِ مُدَّةً, and he stayed there. He was staying in that vicinity for some time. ثُمَّ عَادَ إِلَى Damascus. Then he went back to Damascus. Okay, that is in Syria again. وَاعْتَكَفَ بِالْمَنَارَةِ الْغَرْبِيَّةِ مِنَ الْجَامِعِ, and then he did i'tikaf, also seclusion, بِالْمَنَارَةِ الْغَرْبِيَّةِ, in the western minaret of the Jami' of the Masjid. وصنف تصانيف المشهورة التي لم يسبق إليها, and then he did صنف التصانيف. He authored, great authorships, المشهور, famous. He authored famous authorships, books, التي لم يسبق إليها, that which each type didn't happen before. He wrote books where in first, where you can't find the match of it. Okay, no one authored books like it before. That's what they are telling us. Misal, example is Al-Ihya Ulumuddin, this book, famous one of a work of Imam Ghazali, Ihya Ulumuddin. If you look at it, this Ihya Ulumuddin, he talked a lot about seclusion, khalwa, and then uzla. He talked a lot about it. So it's not just a scholarly book, but it has some content of seclusion, Sufism in it. Okay, this Ihya Ulumuddin. Then he says that Sheikh is now telling us وصادف دخوله يوما المدرسة العامينية فوجد المدرس يقول. صادف, it means to coincide. Okay, so it coincided that the day that he was entering a particular madrasa, which was Madrasatul Aminiya, he saw the teacher saying something. What was it? Qala al-Ghazali. The teacher was saying. So he was entering the madrasa, and it coincided that a teacher at the Madrasatul Aminiya, he was teaching students, and he said, Qala al-Ghazali. Ghazali said. So he was the one he was quoting. And Ghazali himself, he was entering, and he heard the teacher quoting him. وَهُوَ يُدَرِّسُ مِنْ كَلَامِهِ, and he was teaching in his words, the words of Ghazali, meaning he was using maybe a book of Ghazali or a particular knowledge that is written by Ghazali. The teacher was reading from it, and then he said he was quoting Ghazali. فَخَشِيَ الْغَزَالِي, and Ghazali, خَشِيَ الْغَزَالِي, Imam Ghazali was afraid, عَلَى نَفْسِهِ, or himself. Al-Ujba. Ujba is self-admiration, to admire yourself and look at yourself to be so high. I'm above this. That is Ujba. You see yourself to be so high there. Okay. So Imam Ghazali, he felt that was what he's running from Baghdad. The highness of, people seeing him to be so high, and it was polluting his intention. That was what made him to leave Baghdad, to flee from Baghdad. And now similar thing is happening again. He was entering the madrasa and the teacher was quoting him. And he felt that no, if I will be around this place, similar thing will happen to me again. فَفَارَقَ دَمَشْقَ. And so he left Damascus. He left the place. وَأَخَذَ يَجُولُ فِي الْبِلَادِ. And he kept roaming around the earth, roaming around from land to land. Okay, Imam Ghazali, as I said, it was a severe, spiritual crisis. And not just him alone. We may even be feeling this, you, without even realizing. Our intention may not be pure without us realizing. May Allah protect us. So we have to, it's a very, very severe, issue, very critical issue that we have to always be monitoring our intention. فَدَخَلَ مِنْهَا إِلَى مِصْرَ. And so during his moving around the land, he went to Misr, Egypt. وَتَوَجَّهَ مِنْهَا إِلَى الْإِسْكَنْدَرِيَّةِ. And he went to Iskandariya, that is Alexandria in Egypt. فَأَقَامَ بِهَا مُدَّةً. And he stayed there for some time. وَاسْتَمَرَّ يَجُولُ فِي الْبُلْدَانِ. And he kept, he continued moving around the land. وَيَزُورُ الْمَشَاهِدِ. And he was visiting mashahid, popular places. وَيُرَوِّضُ نَفْسَهُ. And he was, what was it? Rawada yurawid, which means to display yourself. Okay. So yurawwidu nafsuhu, he was displaying himself. He was trying to put himself back to a pure intention. That's the nature of the soul. Okay. Like Al-Mutanabbi, one of these famous Arabic figures, he says that an-nafsu ragibatan. Okay. An-nafsu ragibatan wa iza raja'ta ila al-qalil taqna'u. An-nafsu ragibatan iza raqabtaha. Al-Mutanabbi. That's the nature of the human soul. If you continue to feed it, it will be taken. If you expose to yourself to riba, anything, the soul will take it. The soul will consume it and it will be satisfied with it. وَإِذَا رَجَعْتَ إِلَى الْقَلِيلِ تَقْنَعُ. When you discipline it, you bring it back to little, to the obedience of Allah, it will be pleased with it. So the nafs, the soul is what you are accustomed to it, what you are accustomed it to. If you put it to something, it will be, okay with it. So you have to discipline it. So while you run with nafsuhu, and then he was nafsahu, he was disciplining himself. وَيُجَاهِدُهَا. And he was striving with it. Then Sheikh says that وَاسْتَفَادَ مِنْ صُحْبَةِ الشَّيْخِ أَبِي عَلِي الْفَرْمَدِي. He benefited. Istifada is to benefit. He benefited from the companionship. Suhba. Sahib is a companion. So the companionship, Suhba is companionship of Sheikh Abi Ali al-Farmandi. He benefited with the companionship of this Sheikh. وَانْكَشَفَتْ عَلَيْهِ الْعُلُومٌ وَحِكَمٌ. And knowledge, okay, of sciences and even hikam, okay, wisdom open up to him in his companionship of this Sheikh. وَعَلَتْ مَدَارِكُهُ. And even his madarik, his senses, his intellect, his understanding, it went high. وَعَادَ إِلَى وَطَنٍ. And then so afterwards, he went back to his watan, his homeland. وَآثَرَ الْأُزْلَةِ. And he gave preference to seclusion. He preferred seclusion. When he went back, he still remained in seclusion. Then, وَأُلْزِمَ بِالْعَوْدِ إِلَى نِسَابُورٍ. And it became necessary for him to went back to Nisabur. وَالتَّدْرِيسِ بها في مدرسة النظامية, and teaching there in the madrasa النظامية, the systematic the systematic education cycle. وأجاب إلى ذلك بعد تكرار المعاودات. And he accepted that after several repeated requests. He accepted that to go to the madrasa النظامية at Nisabur and teach there. ودرس مدة يسيرة. And he taught there for a short time. وكل قلبه معلق مما فتح عليه من الطريق. And all his heart was attached to what opened up to him of the way when he went to seclusion. Okay, what he learned. Okay, staying away, staying alone, and then purified his intention. His heart was still, tied to that. ثم رجع, so that's why he thought for only a small time. ثم رجع إلى مدينة توس. Afterwards he went to Tus, Medina to Tus, that's where he was born. واتخذ إلى جانب داره مدرسة للفقهاء, and he took at the side of his home, a corner at the side of his house, he took therefore a madrasa for scholars, fuqaha, the people of fiqh, the scholars of fiqh. He made a small space for them. Then he says that وَزَاوِيَةً لِلصُّوفِيَّةِ, a zawiya is zawiya for Sufis. A zawiya corner. A zawiya is just a corner where people sit and study or whatever people sit. So for Sufis. Then وَوَزَّعَ أَوْقَاتَهُ عَلَى وَظَائِفٍ مِنْ خَتْمِ الْقُرْآنِ. He spread his time ala wazaif, over the works of khatm al-Quran, completing Quran, wa mujalasati arbab al-qulub, and sitting with the people of the heart. Arbab, it means people who have knowledge of the heart. Wa tadris li talabati al-ilm, and even teaching the people of knowledge. Wa idamati salat wa siyam wa sa'ir al-ibadat, and being consistent with salat and sawm and siyam, fasting and sa'ir al-ibadat and other ibadats. He devoted himself to this. Allahu Akbar. So khatm al-Quran, completing Quran. Majalisati arbab al-qulub, sitting with the scholars of the heart, people who know much about the heart. Wa tadris li talabati al-ilm, and teaching people of knowledge. Wa idamati as-salat wa siyam wa sa'ir al-ibadat. And all this, that was what Sheikh was devoted to. بحيث, he says that بحيث لا تخلو لحظة من لحظاته ولحظات من معه عن فائدة. Where so he was devoted to these things that he has mentioned, where his lahza, a moment of his, and the moment of those who were with him, a single moment of his and those who were with him, it will be devoid of a benefit. That's what they are telling us. Ila an intaqala ila rahmatillah. Allahu Akbar. Till when, or till the point where he returned to Allah Azza wa Jal, fi yawm isnayn, on a Monday, 14th of Jumad al-Akhir, Sanata 505 Hijriya, Hijrah. This was the day that Sheikh passed away. That was 505 after Hijrah. He was born 450 after Hijrah, and then he died 505 after Hijrah. Literally 55 years. Sheikh passed away. Imam Ghazali. Then the author says that Qala Akhuhu Ahmad, his brother Ahmad, narrating to us, says that لما كان يوم اثنين وقت الصبح, when it was the day that he passed away, the Monday, وقت الصبح, the time of Subh, توضع أخي أبو حامد, my brother Abu Hamid al-Ghazali, he performed ablution, وصلى, and he prayed, وقام, and وقال, and he said, علي بالكفن. Bring me the kafan. This alayya, it means bring me. Kafan is the shroud. When someone is dead and then we use the shroud to wrap, that's the shroud. Kafan. فأخذه, and so he took it. وقبله, and he kissed it. وضعه على عينيه, and he placed it on his eyes. وقال, and he said, سمعا وطاعة للدخول على الملك. سمعا وطاعة, I've heard and I've obeyed. Sam'an wa ta'atan is an expression to mean I've heard and I've obeyed. للدخول على الملك, for entering onto the Malik, the man going back to Allah Azza wa Jal. ثم مد رجليه, then afterwards he extended his رجليه, his two legs. واستقبل القبلة, and then he faced the Qibla. ومات قبل الإسفار, and then he died before it was the daybreak, Isfar, daybreak. وكان خاتمة أمره إقباله على حديث الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم, and the end of his matter, the end of his life, it was devotion, al-iqbal, devotion to the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, ومجالسة أهله, and sitting with his people, one of the scholars of hadith, he was sitting with them. ومطالعة الصحيحين, and gazing through the Sahihain, the two Sahih, al-Bukhari wa Muslim. ومات وكتاب الصحيح للبخاري على صدره, and he died while the book of the Sahih Bukhari was on his chest. كان الغزالي, Imam al-Ghazali was rahimahullah شديد الذكاء. He was someone who had great intelligence. He was a great, extremely intelligent person. Sadid al-Nazar, he had a sharp vision. His vision was very sharp. He could sit down and see, like think in the future. He was someone who had a great vision. Ajib al-Fitra, he has an amazing instinct. His instinct was amazing, or even strange. Ali al-Himma, he had a great aspiration. So his aspiration was very, very high. He was someone who's looking in the future and have great aspiration. No matter, you see how high he was still seeing it to be low. His aspiration was, and that's what happens. There's an expression in the Arabic language that they says that ما خل الجبان بأرض طلب طعن وحده والنزال. If a coward is alone in the city, he thinks that he's a warrior. So when you are with people, you may even see yourself to be big. By reality, you are not even big. But those whose aspirations are very high, when they are in a mix of people, they don't see they don't try to compare them. They don't look at the standard of the people and think that I am okay. He still look at the great people who are above him and compare himself to them and still want to reach their level. So his aspirations were very high. Mufritul idrak, he had extreme comprehension. QIRA ATUr, he had great memory, very strong memory. Ba'id al-Qawr, he was very in depth. Qawr is the depth of something. So he was someone who was, you can say, far-sighted. His depth, he was very deep. Gawasan ala ma'ani daqiqa, he used to dive into, he dive deep into little meanings. Something, a very simple meaning, he would dive deep into it to pull out benefits. Munaziran, he was someone who could, talk. If you want, you can see he could debate, with other people. Qawi al-Hujja, he had great or strong proofs. And that is the end of this beautiful short history of Imam Ghazali. So if you look at it, I will tell you his life was just divided into 3 parts. The first part was his rise in Baghdad. He rose in Baghdad. He became very high. A person of jah, prestige, and hishma and dignity. That was how he rose in the first part of his life in Baghdad. And he was even teaching in the Madrasatul Nizamiyya, and that was one of the highest level of education in the Islamic world at that time. So it wasn't a joke. He was teaching in a madrasa that was the highest of its kind in the Islamic world at that time. So it was a source of prestige for him. And as we have seen, among the scholars there, everybody was saluting him. His knowledge surpassed all of theirs. So the people saw him to be a god. Not necessarily a God. I'm talking about God in terms of knowledge. So, and that was something that, according to him, is tempted with his intention. And so that led to the second phase of his life, seclusion. After this, experiencing this spiritual crisis, he devoted himself, into seclusion to try to purify his intentions and then purify his nafs again. And so he left Baghdad. He went for Hajj, went to Egypt, as Alexandria in Egypt, and then all these places, he went there to purify himself. Afterwards, he came back to his place, his watan, his homeland, where he was now there, and then he established Zawaya, a corner by his house, like we have seen, and even Zawaya, circles of gatherings for Sufis, people who who remember Allah all the time, seclude themselves to remembrance of Allah like that. And that was what he was upon till his death. Okay, that was what he was upon. May Allah grant us understanding. So this is, as I said, there's a very great lesson in it. We have to purify our intention. There are two things that determine the magnitude of our deeds on the day of judgment. One is intention. That's the first famous one, intention. And two is how close is it to the sunnah of the Prophet. So if you are doing any deed and it's not in line with these two things, it's going to be, we will see, it will be loss. Okay, it's not a good deed. Definitely we will get the benefit. Okay, intention is done solely for the sake of Allah, and two is done in koto. It should be in line with the sunnah of the Prophet. These two things. So Imam went ahead to try to purify his intention, and as I said, we all of us. This is something that we shouldn't joke with. Allah says that وَقَدِمْنَا إِلَى مَا عَمِلُوا مِنْ عَمَلٍ فَجَعَلْنَاهُ هَبَاءً مَنْصُورًا. Those whose deeds are not done for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal, on the day of judgment, Allah will come to it and tell them to scatter dust. عَمَلُهُمْ كَسَرَابٍ بَكِيئًا يَحْسَبُهُ الظَّمْآنُ مَاءً حَتَّى إِذَا جَاءَهُ لَمْ يَجِدْ شَيْئًا وَوَجَدَ اللَّهَ عِنْدَهُ فَوَفَّاهُ حِسَابًا. Those whose deeds are not done for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal. Okay, كَسَرَابٍ بَكِيئًا. It's like a what's the name? A mirage. When you see a mirage of water, water you think is water. You come with a tasty one, a tasty person think is a source of water. You it's a mirage. On the day of judgment, that's what happens. Then he comes to it, and then all of a sudden it has vanished. It's not there again. It was fake. This. فَوَجَدَ اللَّهَ عِنْدَهُ. Rather, in contrary, he will see Allah present there. فَوَفَّاهُ حِسَابًا. Subhanallah. And Allah will judge him. Allah that he didn't used to believe in, or no, his deeds was done for his sake. You see Allah present there. So it's a very, very, it's a very big issue that we all have to have at our back of our minds when we are doing any good deed. Our intention. May Allah grant us purity in intention in whatever we are doing. جزاكم الله خيرا. اللهم اجعلنا ممن يحشرون إلى الرحمن وفدا. اللهم أصلح لنا زواحرنا وبواطننا وجعل سرائرنا خيرا من علانياتنا وجعل علانياتنا صالحة. اللهم آت أنفسنا تقواها وزكها أنت خير من زكاها أنت وليها ومولاها. جزاكم الله خيرا وبارك الله لي ولكم في القرآن الحكيم ونفعني وإياكم من آياته والذكر الحكيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.